Good morning, Year 5. It's Mrs. Aarons here, and I have prepared a lesson on modal verbs, which I hope you enjoy this morning. So, our learning objective is to use a range of modal verbs in my writing. Now, in Year 5, we have been learning how to use modal verbs. However, not all of us have included them in our most recent newspaper reports. So today we're going to have another go at using them. For this activity, you will just need your writing equipment and a London Eye Mystery if you have one. If you don't have a copy of the book at home, that's fine. You can work from your memory of what we have read in class. So, ask yourself to begin with, do you know what a modal verb is? And can you use them in your writing? So here's an example of a SATs type question. Circle the modal verb in the sentence below. They could be here at 6 o'clock. Which word would you circle to identify the modal verb? And does the modal verb you circled indicate certainty or possibility? So by the end of this lesson, you will feel confident to answer that question. Now, modal verbs, as a recap, are used to show how possible something is or how likely it is to happen. They cannot be in a sentence on their own. They need to be with a main verb. So the first thing to do is to identify the main verb in a sentence. Here's an example. You could eat a roast chicken instead of onion soup. So I've identified that my verb is to eat, and therefore my modal verb is the possibility it is of me eating it. How likely is that going to be to happen? So in this case, it's could. You could eat a roast chicken. Another example, if you stay, shall we play in the garden? I identify my verb first of all, to play, and then my modal verb is indicating how likely it is for that to happen. Shall we play? Here's another example, and I'd like you to have a go at this at home. Let me just move my screen icon, there we go. So, we can walk the other way. It's quicker. Where is the modal verb and the main verb in this sentence? Can you identify the modal and the main verbs? Where would I put my arrows? Well done. You should have identified that the verb is to walk, and in this instance the modal verb is can. We can walk the other way. Okay? Quick task for you to, before we do our task, we're going to look at some examples. I've found these examples in a couple of children in 5H's work, so well done to Sassia and William, who have already included modal verbs in their writing independently. So here's Sassia's example. Then Justin, the police officer, commented that it is a very unfortunate event. However, they should stay calm. Where is Sassia's modal verb? Which word should I be highlighting? Let me get my highlighter. And well done if you said should. The modal verb, they should stay calm. And looking at William's work here, William's sentence says, the police have stated that the family must stay at home and keep ringing his phone. And William's already edited his work and highlighted his modal word must when he was self-assessing. So well done. We've got must and should being used in examples of your own writing. Now, here's your first task. You can stop the video when you are ready. I want you to identify as many modal verbs as you can that could complete this sentence. So, Ted, you stay here. What words might be able to go in the middle of that sentence? And there are some examples on the side there. Ted, you could stay here. Ted, you shall stay here. Ted, you can stay here. So, pause the video, give yourself about 40 seconds and see how many other modal verbs you can think of that could go in there. Okay, well done. So if I take away the answers, that shape, then we can see some examples, and you could check them off on your list and see how many of these you found for yourselves. Did you identify would, may, might? You must stay here. You should stay here. You ought to. You will stay here. And you can hear from how I'm reading those examples that there are differing degrees of certainty over whether or not that will happen. So what I'd like you to do now with your pencil is just draw yourself a quick Venn diagram, 2 circles, and on one side you've got most likely and on the other side you've got least likely. And then have a go, and I've put 2 minutes on the clock for this. If you pause the video and have a look at the words on the right hand side of the screen, the modal verbs, try and decide where they're going to go in the Venn diagram. Which ones indicate that it is most likely to happen and which ones indicate that it is least likely to happen. Okay, off you go.